It's filled my brain with much more information than it can handle. I think I've had brain overload. Um, I've never recovered, as I said before, from doing the box. Um, I I don't think it's affected me very much, except it's made my life much more interesting than it would have been. Growing up in suburban Long Island, my parents wanted me to be a real estate lawyer. My talking to people, whether it's for the box or the New York book or the 60s book, has just made my life so damn interesting. I was always aware that people went to work in the morning and they came back, and I never wanted to live that life. I wanted to do what I wanted to do and pursue the things that interested me. I didn't care about the money. That wasn't important. I didn't have it. I wasn't going to have it. And so I was acutely aware of the fact that when I went to bed at night, those days were great. They could be great days. And it seemed to slow my life down. Like, because I got to do these interviews, it just, you know, if you're on a treadmill of a job, life just speeds by so quickly. For me, life just moved. I was aware of almost like every minute or every hour just because it was so great. And, you know, whether it was doing interviews, I interviewed a guy who went up San Juan Hill with Teddy Roosevelt in the Spanish-American War. My God, right? Who gets to do that? Oh, and then I get to bore people with that story, you know, for years. So that puts me so far ahead of the game. And I wasn't raised to do any of that. So I've had this amazing life. And I've been working on the Hiss case since the 70s. And I've figured out how Alger Hiss was framed. I've worked on this, you know, throughout my life. I've been able to determine that this grave miscarriage of justice, and maybe the most important political trial of the century, I can prove that that was a miscarriage of justice. I can rewrite history, and I think I will. Nobody did that on my street where I grew up. Nobody was going to do that. And I got a chance to do that. I got a chance to hear these incredible stories. And now and in a way with the box, I do get to rewrite history, right? I get to change the way the medium is viewed. I get to open up this door into into television history that maybe would have been closed, right? Because who else would have talked to these people? Who else could hear those stories? I just decided that I wanted to hear them, and that other people would hear them. And so it's made my life incredibly rich to hear these stories, and maybe it's made other people's lives richer too. I don't know. Every once in a while I get an email from somebody or a letter from somebody that says that they liked what I wrote. And that's very gratifying. I learned something. When the box came out, I got letters from almost everybody in the book. We had sent them 2 copies of the book. And they loved the fact that their words were preserved and their thoughts were preserved. And so that's the way it's affected me. I've had the privilege of shaping history. And I don't know many people that could say that they've done that or could do that. I'm very fortunate.